One of the things that made me able to do this from the beginning, when the university came after me, was that I had 3 independent streams of income, right? As a professor, I had a clinical practice and I had a pretty successful business. And so I could lose 2 of those, any 2 of those, without, being destitute and putting my family at risk. And I'm still in that position now, which is also partly why I'm willing to do this publicly, because I don't want this precisely to be about me, because that's just annoying. I want to shed light on the fact that this is on my belief that this is a universal problem of public concern in Canada and elsewhere. And I can do that because the worst thing the college can do to me is, the worst thing they can do is suspend my license and make a public statement that because of my refusal to comply with their dictates, I'm no longer acceptable as a licensed clinical psychologist. And I don't want them to do that because I believe that I earned my license and am also a good advocate on the clinical front. I don't want to be in a position where faceless bureaucrats motivated by a political agenda and whatever envy and resentment they carry in their dark and nasty little hearts have the opportunity to strip me of something that I spent a decade of extremely hard work earning. But if they do strip it from me, first of all, that's not going to redound to their credit. Second, I can probably get licensed in a jurisdiction like Florida with a bit of work if I wanted to.
That'd be satisfying.
Yeah,
Who wants to be part of this creepy little club of psychologists that are just telling people lies anyway? If the entire profession is being forced to not tell their clients the truth, then maybe you should drop that club.
It's worse than that. It's worse than that, Michaela. The bodies that govern the training programs for clinical psychologists in Canada, the Canadian Psychological Association, has increasingly moved to make it mandatory for universities that offer clinical psychology training to do that under the rubric of social justice or face the suspension of the accreditation of their programs. And that's also happening in medicine. Everyone listening, you bloody well better listen to this, people, because we're entering a situation where the universities themselves are required to ensure that your physicians and your psychologists are of a particular political stripe, which essentially means radically left, not just left, but radically left, like social justice, full, woke, critical racist theory, oppressive, patriarchal narrative, feminist left wing, or the institution itself will not be allowed to train physicians or psychologists. And I know that sounds like a conspiracy theory, and go look it up for yourself and see if it's true, because it's true right down to the last word. And so if you Canadians, you think you're going to be served well by craven political ideologues who are primarily selected to be physicians on the basis of their political purity, you've got a bloody another thing coming. That didn't work out so well in Eastern Europe. Let me tell you, it's not going to work out very well for us either. And so part of the reason I'm willing to make this battle public is to try to alert people to the fact that we're a hell of a lot farther down this road than we think. I went through Eastern Europe for 4 months this spring, talking to people there. I had the privilege of meeting 30 or 40 people in each country who were political or cultural leaders across the political spectrum, including leftists who'd been mobbed like mad by their own compatriots. And every single one of the people I talked to, virtually without exception in Eastern Europe, said something like, do you know what happened here between the end of the Second World War in 1989 when we were dominated by the communists? Do you know how awful it was here? That was particularly true in Albania. Do you know you people in the West are walking down exactly the same road? What the hell's wrong with you? Don't you notice? And this included the socialists in those Eastern European countries, who remember the tender mercies of the radical leftists and the fact that, 1 out of 3 people in most of those countries, even if they were within your own family, were government informers. And where the joke was, we pretend to work and they pretend to pay us, and where people spent hours in bread lines and fought over terrible little rat hole apartments as they were quasi-starving to death, unable to ever tell the truth or speak.
Yeah. That's not good.